On evaluation day, Aaron held out his hand, and a scrawny alley rat nuzzled his palm.
A rat? That's your tamed beast? How utterly pathetic.
Around him, beasts of legend roared to life. Birds of prey, storm wolves, living steel claws. The courtyard erupted. Rat King, useless. The words cut deeper than any blade.
They can call me Rat King. They can laugh, but I will prove this skill is not worthless. You should quit now, Aaron. The war needs real beastmasters, not a rat catcher.
He looked at the trembling creature in his palm, so fragile against the legends around him, but he did not let go.
From tonight, I train in secret. No one will know what I am planning.
As the sun set, Aaron walked away from the courtyard, the laughter fading behind him, but in his chest, a fire had been lit. This was not the end. It was the beginning. That night, Aaron slipped into the abandoned training yard, a pack of rats scurrying at his heels.
If I can just make them listen. Just once. Maybe this skill isn't a curse.
He pushed his bond, commanding the rats to swarm the stone training golem. The golem's fist crushed the ground. The rats scattered, broken and useless.
Not even a scratch. What am I doing wrong?
Dawn found him exhausted, his hands raw, his spirit frayed. But the world had no mercy for the weak.
Still playing with rats, Rat King? The golem is for beginners, and even that is too much for you.
Before Aaron could respond, a horn split the air. The war of the depths had begun. From deep rifts, colossal serpents erupted, their shadows blotting the sun. Aaron watched, cold dread settling in his gut. His rats were nothing against those monsters. Days passed, the capital held, but the war demanded every able body. Aaron was sent to the rear camp.
A Rat King. You are too weak for the front. Latrine duty. Be grateful we don't feed you to the serpents.
Latrine duty. This is what my training led to.
While noble beastmasters charged into glory, Aaron scrubbed filth from dawn to dusk. But from the front, grim news echoed. The elite beastmasters were crushed by the abyssal serpents. Their legendary beasts fell like leaves in a storm. The kingdom's finest were nothing before those monsters.
Even they couldn't stand against them. What hope did a rat tamer ever have?
The next day, a pack of rats scurried past his feet. He didn't even try to call them.
What's the point? I am less than useless. I am nothing.
And the war raged on, indifferent to a boy who had lost even his will to fight. One evening, a dying scout force dragged themselves into camp. The gate guards shouted for a healer, but it was too late.
From the abyss, an egg. They said it was dead, but we paid with blood to bring it back. Take it. Maybe the scholars can find something. I couldn't. Let it.
The scout went limp. Aaron stood frozen, the jagged egg fragment pressed into his trembling hands. Then, the moment his skin met the cold stone, a flicker of warmth pulsed through his palm.
That pulse. It's like my taming skill recognized something, but they said it was dead.
He glanced around. No one had noticed the faint light. Instinct took over. He slipped the fragment into his tunic.
If anyone finds out I took this, they'll think I am stealing. But I can't let it go.
That night, in the reeking quiet of the latrines, Aaron pressed the egg to his chest. A subtle thrum answered, like a heartbeat. For the first time since the war began, the boy who tamed rats felt something stir that was far from worthless. 3 nights later, the egg cracked. Light bled through the seams, and a tiny serpent uncoiled into the world.
It's alive. After all this time, after being called dead.
The hatchling was no longer than a sword. Its scales shimmered with unearthly colors, and it looked at Aaron with ancient eyes.
You are not a rat, are you? You are something far older. My taming skill. It didn't fail. It was waiting for you.
A gentle thrum echoed in his mind. The bond snapped into place, stronger than any rat had ever been. He named it Sylph, and from that night he trained it in the shadows far from the camp's prying eyes.
If anyone finds out, they'll take you, or kill us both.
But even as a hatchling, Sylph obeyed with eerie intelligence. It could flatten itself, vanish into cracks, strike like lightning.
We're going to prove them all wrong, Sylph. One day, they'll fear the Rat King.
Weeks passed. Sylph grew to the size of a large hound, its scales tough and iridescent. Hiding it became a dangerous game.
If it grows any larger, we'll be found out. The officers will kill us both.
Searching for a solution, he stumbled upon a dusty scroll in the camp's abandoned archive. It depicted ancient serpents of legend, world enders. The text called them beasts of the abyss with the power to command lesser serpents. The illustration matched Sylph perfectly.
A world ender. My taming skill didn't wait for rats. It was dormant, waiting for you, but you are still small. The war. If I reveal you, they'll see a monster, not a solution.
Before he could decide, alarm horns shattered the night. The capital was under siege. Abyssal serpents had breached the outer walls.
They're inside the walls. The elite beastmasters, they're gone. There's no one left to stop them.
A colossal serpent smashed through a tower, its roar shaking the earth. Soldiers fled like ants before its shadow. Aaron clutched Sylph, his heart racing. The capital needed a world ender of their own, but the world wasn't ready for him yet. The next morning, Commander Vesta stormed through the camp. Her cold eyes swept every corner, and they landed on Aaron.
Rat King, I've heard rumors of strange sounds near the supply tents. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
Strange sounds. No, Commander. Just rats. I am always dealing with rats.
Rats don't leave claw marks on steel barrels. Move aside.
Aaron's heart stopped. Behind the barrel, Sylph had flattened itself into a crack no wider than a finger.
Humph. Nothing but mold and rust. Keep this area cleaner, or you'll scrub the entire camp with your tongue.
That was too close. If she had looked 1 inch further...
Sylph slithered out, unharmed but trembling. Aaron scooped it up, his hands shaking. The game had become deadly.
We can't stay here. But if we run, we're deserters. She'll hunt us down.
That night, patrols doubled. Aaron knew he was one mistake away from the gallows. Yet he couldn't abandon his only hope. The siege dragged on. From the camp, Aaron could hear the dying cries of elite beastmasters as the abyssal horde advanced. One by one, their legendary creatures fell. Storm wolves, griffins. Nothing could stop the serpent's relentless tide. Then Aaron saw them, ancient serpents with rune-like markings, moving through the horde like generals among soldiers. Sylph, hidden beneath his cloak, began to hiss. Its scales flickered with an eerie light, as if answering a silent call.
Why is Sylph reacting to them? It's like my taming skill is trying to reach out across the battlefield. Could it be? My skill wasn't dormant for rats, it was waiting for them. The world enders.
The ancient serpents did not simply attack. They commanded the lesser beasts, directing the destruction with an intelligence that froze the blood.
If Sylph can sense them, maybe I can command them. Not as a rat tamer, but as what my skill truly is.
A desperate plan took root. If he could just get close enough, his taming skill might be the one weapon the kingdom had left.
It's madness. But staying here, watching everyone die, that's madness too. I have to try.
That night, Aaron crept past the patrols, Sylph coiled tightly around his arm. He found a vantage point, overlooking the serpent's advance. He focused on one ancient serpent, its runes pulsing with malice. His eyes flared, and unseen threads of will stretched across the burning field. The colossal beast halted. Its massive head turned, its slitted eye meeting Aaron's gaze across the carnage. A faint, taming mark flickered on the serpent's forehead, unstable, shimmering, but undeniable. Aaron's entire body trembled. His skill burned like a dam about to break, struggling to hold the link. The serpent shuddered, its movements becoming sluggish, disoriented. The lesser serpents around it shrieked in confusion. The connection snapped. Aaron gasped, collapsing to one knee as the strain overwhelmed him.
It worked. just for a moment, but it worked. My skill, it's not for rats, it's for them.
But he could barely hold one for seconds. To turn the war, he needed far more strength, but now he had proof. The Rat King possessed a weapon deadlier than any the kingdom had ever seen. The final assault came without warning. The capital's eastern wall crumbled like dry clay. Survivors flooded the camp. Among them, Lyra, her storm wolf dead, her pride shattered, but her venom intact.
Still hiding behind your rats, Aaron? The kingdom burns, and you are nothing but a coward with a mop. She's right. I've been hiding, but not anymore.
He glanced down at Sylph, now the size of a warhorse, its scales gleaming with restrained power.
No more latrines. No more ridicule. I am going to do what I should have done long ago.
He stood, shedding the filthy tunic of a latrine worker, and let Sylph coil visibly around his shoulders.
What? What is that? A snake? You think a snake can save us? You are more foolish than I thought. This isn't just a snake, Lyra. This is the answer. Watch me.
And with that, the Rat King walked into the fire, a world serpent at his side, his heart a furnace of resolve. The battlefield was chaos. Aaron pushed through the smoke, Sylph a coiled shadow beside him, seeking the ancient general. At last, he saw it. A colossal serpent, runes burning like brands. Its eye met his challenge.
By the bond of aeons, I claim you. Turn your wrath on the abyss.
A luminous brand seared onto the serpent's forehead. Its thrashing halted. Its gaze softening. The ancient serpent swung its massive head and crushed an abyssal serpent that dared approach. It fought for Aaron. From the shattered walls, soldiers and beastmasters gaped. Even Lyra's face went pale.
It worked. But holding it is like carrying a mountain. One serpent won't be enough.
Abyssal serpents still poured through the breach. The battle raged on, undiminished. Aaron, exhausted but unyielding, stood his ground. The fight had only just begun, and the world watched, wondering if the Rat King could truly rewrite this war. The turned serpent fought like a god, but the abyss sent 3 more to crush it. Sylph coiled around Aaron, shielding him from falling debris as the battle raged. But the serpent was outnumbered. A massive jaw clamped around its throat. Aaron screamed, pouring his will into the bond, but the mark flickered and died. The ancient serpent collapsed, crushing a building in its fall. Abyssal beasts surged forward. A shard of stone sliced Aaron's side. He fell to one knee, blood soaking through his tunic.
It's slipping. My skill isn't strong enough yet. I can't hold them.
Sylph hissed in rage, lashing out at the nearest serpent. But it was battered and weakening. The defender's hope, so briefly kindled, began to gutter. The Rat King was falling, but in his eyes, a stubborn fire still burned. Even as the darkness closed in, Aaron clutched his bleeding side, every breath a war. The abyssal roar drowned all hope, but in the darkness, a memory surfaced. A scrawny rat nuzzling his palm, and a promise made under laughter.
I made a vow. I said I'd prove it wasn't worthless. I won't die here as the Rat King.
He forced himself upright, ignoring the gash. Sylph coiled around him, its own wounds matching his.
I don't tame rats. I tame the world enders.
A shockwave of pure will erupted from him. His eyes became twin suns, and an alpha's command thundered across the battlefield. Sylph's wounds mended as it drank the power. It grew, scales blazing, becoming a beacon of ancient might. Abyssal serpents halted, their slitted eyes betraying the first glimmer of fear. The kingdom's defenders felt it too, a shift in the tide, a master's call that could not be ignored. The Rat King had only begun, and the ancient serpents were listening. One by one, the ancient serpents halted. Their rune-scarred heads turned, answering the Alpha's call.
Turn your wrath upon the abyss. By my bond, I claim you all.
Luminous brands flared to life on a dozen serpentine skulls. Their loyalty twisted, ancient chains sundering. The first ancient serpent crashed into an abyssal behemoth, fangs sinking deep. The tide began to pivot. Sylph reared, now a mountain of radiant scale. Its presence alone commanded the lesser serpents to bow.
This power, it's tearing me apart. But I won't stop, not until every abyssal worm is ash.
More serpents joined his banner, their ancient strength now a wall against the abyss. Yet the abyss swelled in defiance. Countless abyssal serpents answered with shrieks, a final, desperate wave.
This war ends today. Sylph with me.
The Rat King led the charge, his world ender at his side. Into the heart of the abyss, the final battle had begun. Ancient serpents smashed into abyssal ranks like falling mountains, scattering the horde. Sylph's roar split the sky. Lesser serpents fled its presence, clearing a path.
My bones are glass, my blood is fire, but I will not fall. Not while one of them remains.
From the shattered walls, defenders watched the impossible. The abyss was reeling. Abyssal serpents thrashed in disarray, their cohesion shattered by the Alpha's command. Sylph wrapped a colossal abyssal serpent in its coils, crushing it with a sound like thunder.
Push them back. Every serpent that flees is one less threat to the capital.
The abyssal front buckled. Then a massive, scarred serpent rose, shrieking defiance.
It's not over. That one is the leader. Break it, and the horde will collapse.
The tide had turned, but the abyss still bared its fangs. Victory was not yet assured. The scarred abyssal general lunged, but Sylph intercepted it, their collision shaking the earth.
Now, Sylph, end it.
Sylph's jaws crushed the general's skull. The abyssal horde shrieked and began to retreat. One after another, the serpents slithered back into the chasm, vanishing from the broken capital. Silence fell. Then, a hesitant cheer rose from the ruined walls, growing into a roar. The capital was saved. The impossible had happened. The Rat King had delivered them. Aaron stood amidst the rubble, his body broken, but his spirit blazing. Sylph coiled beside him.
We did it. We actually did it. The Rat King and the World Ender.
He had nothing left to prove. The ancient serpents had answered his call, and the kingdom lived. For the first time, the name Rat King was spoken with awe, not mockery. The war was over. Lyra emerged from a collapsed gateway, her storm wolf gone. She saw Aaron with Sylph and froze.
Number, it can't be. That pathetic rat tamer. He actually did it. I called him worthless. Now, he's the reason we're alive.
Commander Vesta strode through the rubble, her scarred face unreadable. She stopped before Aaron.
You were right to hide your power. I would have crushed it. I was a fool.
She lowered her head, a gesture of respect no one had ever seen from her. Around them, soldiers and citizens fell to their knees, a wave of reverence spreading through the ruins.
I am sorry, Aaron. I was wrong about you. We all were. Their praise feels like a distant storm. I hear it, but it doesn't touch me.
The war was won, but the battle for his own heart had only just begun. Aaron slipped away from the celebrations, Sylph shrinking to coil gently around his arm. He found a broken fountain, its shallow pool reflecting the crimson sky. He stared into the water, and for a moment saw not himself, but the boy with the rat.
That boy was so angry, so desperate to prove himself.
The reflection shifted, showing the man he had become. Scarred, tired, but unbroken.
I did prove it, but the anger, it's gone. What's left?
Sylph nuzzled his cheek, a soft hiss of comfort breaking the silence.
A world ender, and yet so gentle. My skill wasn't worthless. It just needed the right heart.
For the first time, he smiled. Not in triumph, but in peace. The Rat King had become a legend, but Aaron had finally become himself. In the quiet that followed, Sylph coiled around him, its scales cool against his weary skin.
You were never just a weapon, Sylph. You were the answer to every jeer, every doubt.
The serpent's eyes reflected a wisdom beyond words. It had understood from the first crack of its shell.
I thought I was taming you, but maybe You were taming me.
The taming mark on Sylph's forehead glowed, soft as starlight, then slowly faded, leaving only iridescent scale.
No mark, no command. Just us.
Sylph nuzzled him, a gesture so gentle it belied its world-ending power.
This is what it means to be a tamer. Not control, but trust.
The connection that remained was deeper than any magic. It was a bond forged in fire and silence. Together, they rested, not as master and beast, but as two souls who had rewritten the war. As the first light of dawn touched the ruins, the ancient serpents began to rise. Their massive forms swayed as they turned toward the chasm, a silent exodus of living legends.
They're going home, just like I can. Now.
Aaron stood with Sylph, watching them depart, his heart full of a quiet gratitude. He bowed his head, a gesture of thanks for the power that saved his kingdom. One serpent paused, its eye lingering on Aaron, as if in acknowledgement. Then it slipped into the darkness, and the chasm grew still. In the silence, Aaron's hand found the worn spot where a rat had once nuzzled his palm.
Everything started with a rat, but I am so much more now.
And as the sun rose fully, Aaron and Sylph stood facing a future no longer defined by mockery. As Aaron rose to leave, a faint glimmer caught his eye, a single iridescent scale, shed by Sylph. He knelt and picked it up, its surface still warm as if it held a living pulse.
A piece of a world ender, left behind not as debris, but as a gift.
He remembered the rat, the laughter, the vow he'd made in shame.
All of it led here. Every humiliation, every desperate night.
A single tear traced a path down his cheek, but his lips curved into a gentle smile. He clutched the scale to his chest, pressing it close as if it were the most precious treasure.
Not a weapon, not a command, just a promise.
In that quiet dawn, he finally understood. His journey had never been about proving them wrong. It had been about becoming whole, and still smiling, a single tear fell onto the scale, where it sparkled like a tiny star. Aaron tucked the scale next to his heart and descended toward the waking city. Below, the capital stirred. Smoke still rose, but hammers already rang against stone. He paused, feeling the warmth of the new sun. It felt like a promise. In the clouds, a familiar shape coiled, a serpentine silhouette, as if watching over him.
Always with me, even when I can't see you.
He resumed his path, stepping over rubble that would soon be cleared. The boy who tamed rats was gone. In his place walked a man who had tamed the world. The people saw him, and a murmur spread. The Rat King had returned from the abyss, and there, at the edge of a new era, he stood, not a hero out of legend, but a soul at peace. The gates opened, and Aaron walked through, into the light of a world he had saved.